Imagine being locked inside a steel tube, plunging hundreds of meters into pitch-black, high-pressure water. There is zero sunlight, zero cellular network, and absolutely zero room for error. One wrong valve turn down here is fatal. Over the last 40 years, the Indian Navy's underwater fleet has transformed from a small collection of imports into a sophisticated domestic force capable of patrolling the deep for weeks. The fleet has transitioned from the cramped analog hulls of the 1980s to modern warships that represent some of the most complex engineering projects in the country. Yet, while the engineering has advanced, the core requirement to operate these machines remains the same. Surviving the deep requires a level of physical and psychological endurance that few other professions demand. In 1986, when the INS Shishumar was commissioned, submarine warfare was defined by grit and extreme physical trade-offs. Inside this vessel, up to 70 crew members shared just 2 washrooms and a single shower. As this animation illustrates, beds were so scarce that the Navy relied on hot bunking. 3 to 4 sailors would share a single bunk in rotating shifts, ensuring the submarine remained operational 24/7. The climate inside is equally unforgiving. In the engine rooms, temperatures routinely climb to 55 degrees Celsius, making every shift a test of heat tolerance and mental focus. Fresh water is so limited that it is strictly rationed for the machinery. Daily showers are banned, forcing the crew to wear chemically treated disposable clothing for several days at a time before swapping for a fresh set. These early designs prioritized operational range and firepower above all else. In the 1980s, the crew was expected to adapt their physical lives to whatever narrow spaces were left over after the weapons and engines were installed. The Russian-built INS Sindhuriraj represents a shift toward greater survivability and endurance. It is a larger, robust class of vessel designed to sustain longer missions in contested waters. Submarine design prioritizes survival through redundancy. By leaving critical machinery and wiring exposed in the corridors, the crew ensures they have immediate, unobstructed access to perform life-saving repairs if a system fails during an engagement. Because there are no windows underwater, a submarine relies entirely on sonar to hunt, a system that listens for specific sound waves, like those emitting from an enemy ship's propeller, to locate targets. Watch how incoming sound waves break down into distinct frequency graphs. An operator analyzes these exact waveforms to determine if the vessel is a merchant ship or hostile warship. To counter the isolation of the deep, the crew relies on communal morale. In a galley smaller than a home kitchen, 2 chefs prepare fresh meals for 80 men, even making desserts like gulab jamun to provide a small sense of normalcy. Survival in the Sindhuraj era relies on this combination of mechanical redundancy and human teamwork. When blind under the surface, the crew must act as a single, synchronized unit to override the limitations of their environment. This is the INS Vagshir, a state-of-the-art Scorpion-class submarine built entirely in Mumbai. It represents the modern pinnacle of Indian naval technology, focused on near-total silence and advanced stealth. The manual dials of the past have been replaced by a digital combat information center. Here, every weapon system and sensor is integrated into unified consoles, allowing for faster response times during high-stakes maneuvers. Moving this much steel underwater relies on a fundamental law of physics. In this cross-section, the submarine opens its outer ballast tanks, allowing seawater to rush in. This weight sinks the vessel. To surface, the crew injects high-pressure air into those tanks. The air pushes water out, making it buoyant again. The Vagshir also introduces significant improvements to human habitability. It features an onboard reverse osmosis plant to convert seawater into fresh drinking water, and provides more structured, ergonomic living spaces for the crew. While the Vagshir is the deadliest and most silent hunter in the fleet, it marks a new era where engineering priorities include the physical health and cognitive focus of sailors who run the show. Even with advanced engineering and fresh drinking water, one challenge remains unchanged: the absolute psychological isolation of the deep. On a long mission, sailors go months without seeing the sun or hearing from their families. They stay grounded by keeping physical mementos, like hand-drawn birthday cards from their children, within reach at all times. That connection is the goal of the Sandese Aate initiative. This Republic Day effort delivers thousands of handwritten letters from citizens across India directly to these isolated men, acknowledging their service. Looking at this silhouette of a vessel on patrol, it is easy to forget the human cost of the mission. These letters serve as a vital emotional tether, proving that the nation is aware of the silent vigil taking place hundreds of meters below the surface. The evolution of India's fleet is a story of steel, sonar, and stealth. But the ultimate strength of these warships isn't the technology, it is the selfless resolve of the people inside them. Tools change, but the sacrifice required to protect the nation remains constant.